Just having a look. Are we live? Yes, we are. Welcome back to the Stretford End, everyone. And here we are, live at 6 o'clock to speak about the one and only and the great Manchester United. It's been a while since we've been live. It's been a while since we've actually had a video on the show, but we are back. It's a new year. It's 2022. I just want to say a blessed new year to all of those that have started the new year. And I hope that this year will be a good year for you. For myself personally, it hasn't been the best of time in my life, but here I am with the one thing that keeps me going, Manchester United. And yes, we are not doing too well at the moment. Yes, we won against Aston Villa in the FA Cup, but it wasn't a convincing win. It was a struggle, a scrape through, if you have to put it that way. And the irony is, I'm wearing a Flash t-shirt, but that kind of tells you that our players don't want to run. So, it's just really, really weird. But here we are, and let's get back into the show. So I kind of want to just speak a bit about, the ending part of Ole's reign and how bad that was. And I kind of saw it coming. I know one of the guys that I speak to, basically, he was like, no, keep the faith. And this was 2 years ago. He was like, keep the faith. Ole will come good, the players love him. But that didn't really turn out to be what he said it would be. I kind of knew Oli would fail. I had this that he would fail because we kept on stumbling, at the crucial moments in games where we could capitalize to either go top of the log, to go points clear, to go through to the next round, or even to the final. We seem to, stumble and not find our way, and that is because of his tactical inability. And it showed against teams like Liverpool, where we lost 5-1. It showed against City, where we completely played off the park. It showed against Watford of all teams. I mean, really, Watford of all teams. But that's Claudio Ranieri. When he was at Leicester City, he basically ensured that his team sat deep and counter-attacked, and that's what it did to us. And yes, our defense was a shambles. It still is a shambles. It hasn't really improved. Yes, we had clean sheets along the way, and an unbeaten streak. But it didn't really help because it unraveled very quickly for Ralph Ragnick. We should have had that new manager bounce. We should have ensured that everyone is basically, on the same page, ready to go. The players that haven't played under Ole and want a second opportunity thought they were getting a clean slate, but that didn't happen. We literally saw a quick event which happened within a month, and the players turned. The complaints came out of leaks of them complaining about, you know, not training at specific times, leaving home to go in the dark, and it just wasn't really something that made sense. I don't know why these players turned on the coach so quickly. Is it because they just have to work harder? Yeah, probably because they don't really care about the club itself. There's players that I can mention, but I won't. That I think don't deserve to be at the club. I don't think they should have been signed in the first place. But because of media hype and a bit of statistics here and there, and one good season, they get signed and they looked as the next big thing. But then they are basically only bang average players, and it's basically being evident now because the teams around us are evolving. They're getting good. They're getting stronger and stronger. And us, all we are doing is literally just ensuring that we are scraping through, getting by. It's not something that we need. I'm just enjoying, a fresh drink of water. It is the drink of choice, for the new year, staying away from the gases and the juices and things. Water is the all-time favorite right now. Never thought water would taste so good, but yeah. So, moving on to the game we had against Newcastle United, which we waited a whole 16 days for, and that was absolute crap. No players were closing down. There was no running. The midfield was a complete, an entire balls up. And you look at players like John Shelby, who were the rejects from Liverpool, but they were running the midfield against us. But it was evident we had players such as Matic and McTominay who were quite slow, to get across the park, to close down. But McTominay still plays. I don't get it. And then against Burnley, he had a worldie, gets a goal and an assist and a man of the match performance. But the inconsistencies are there. He is so inconsistent. It's not even funny. How do you go from having a good game, one game, and then the next game you will make sense? I don't understand it. It's not something that you can actually look at and take heed of. I mean, I'm sure Ragnick sees this and he's wondering to himself, but where's the player that I saw in the previous game? Where's that high intensity? Where's that energy? Where's that pressing? Where is the tackling and getting in there? McTominay shows a lot of passion. Trust me, he does. Probably the most passionate player on the pitch, bar to someone like Ronaldo and De Gea and Bruno perhaps. But you know, not to hammer on McTominay so much. It's just the fact that he really gets to me. I mean, the game against Aston Villa, he really, really got to me. Yes, him and Fred, were the creators of the winning goal. But before the goal and after the goal, both of them were complete shambles, hiding bad passes, not moving into space, hiding behind certain players, and even the referee at times, McTominay, leaving the ball to roll right past him, thinking he's leaving it for someone else and not being aware of what is around him and bother to tackle. He jogs back when he's after he's been on the attack, which makes yourself wonder, like, but what is he actually doing? Is he a midfielder? Is he a defensive midfielder? What is he? Because he's not doing the basics right. He's not doing what a defensive midfielder should do. I mean, he doesn't even cover the defense. I mean, there was one moment that really got to me is the fact that he literally ensured that he is closer to McGinn to stop the shot, but he tells Lindelof, who's behind him, to come and close down. How does that make sense? Please explain to me. How can you be closer to the man to close him down, but you're telling someone else behind you to come and close him down? How does that make sense? Where is the fight? Where is that urgency to close down and ensure that he doesn't get the shot off or that he turns and passes the ball? It doesn't make sense to me. And I noticed a few things, and I looked at even players like Rashford for a whole 25 minutes in the first half. He was complete crap. How does this guy start? I understand he's done things for us in the past. I understand he's the player that we know he can be and we know his potential, but he literally has been crap. How do you have an entire crap first half and your second half, literally leading until you were taken off, is just as crap? What is going on with Marcus Rashford? We don't know. This guy was scoring winning on the bench for the second half. Where is that player? Where is that confidence? Where is that directness when he runs at the player and just beats him for pace and skill? There's moments where he completely ignores Luke Shaw on an overlap for a pass choice that he can cross the ball in. Likewise with Greenwood, did the exact same thing. He literally ensured that he doesn't pass to the low. Why is that the case? Why are we playing with two wide players who don't want to provide for the rest of the team and just ensure that they are not actually getting anywhere? And then they lift up their hand to say sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it. If we get cut, look how many times they got through here, how many shots they could have won the game cleanly, and we would have probably been in a worse situation now. But it's Middlesbrough. I don't think that came on for the whole 90 minutes, but it's simply, and this is probably what they're seeing behind the scenes. Maybe they can see that he's not cut out for the Premier League, he's not cut out for the intensity, but then again, he's a very, very good technical footballer. Give him the ball, he will turn, he's press resistant. I mean, play for Ajax in a press system, so for him, it's easy to play in tight spaces, small 1-2s. That is why he's, the risky pass. At least when he gets space, he tries to play it in behind. But he looks at the players around, the Rashfords and the Greenwoods, they don't run. They choose not to run. And, okay, we're just having a look here. It seems to be, the connection is unstable. Albert, we are still live. I'm just double checking. Okay, I think we are still good. Yeah, we seem to be back up now. Sorry for the guys that were watching, and if you maybe cut. I look at things where the coach Ragnick stands on the sidelines and he's watching the team play. He's probably thinking to himself, "What are they doing? They're not doing what he tells them to do. It doesn't look like they're doing anything that is what he explains them to do. When they go and press, they seem to press in singular moments. They don't press together as a team. And when they do press together as a team, there's one person that either forgets to press or doesn't press and completely leaves a hole, which means Aston Villa completely plays through the press and they get out. They're not supposed to clear out for a line, or better yet, us winning the ball and going to run and press. They don't really do it full blown. Is that? What is that? Why is there no synchronicity? Why is there no a sense of teamwork? Playing for one another, playing for the bench, playing for the fans. I look at players, and again, I'm going to bring Rashford in. He makes it a wild run forward, gets to the box, loses the ball, and then he's jogging back. He doesn't bother to try and close the guy down or press the first guy that's got the ball nearest to him. He completely leaves it and he just jogs and drops his head and he's like, you know what? I don't even care about this. You know, and we literally lost control of the game after 30 minutes. And that tells you itself. Like Ragnick we're not gonna play anymore. I mean, even after we scored, we looked like we sat back for the whole 10 minutes. Why? I don't get it. We're supposed to be pressing them more. They're obviously going to come out. Why are we not pushing out and attacking the space in behind? We have players like Rashford and Greenwood that can run in behind, but they're choosing not to run in behind. They're both coming short for ball to feet. Why? You have to alternate. If Rashford is making a run in behind, Greenwood drops back. If Greenwood makes a run in behind, Rashford drops back. And should Greenwood get the ball in behind, at least Rashford or vice versa with Greenwood is making movements towards the box so that if they do get the ball in behind, there are options to pass to score. But it's literally, there's no patterns of play. It doesn't seem to look like, okay, we're going to attack around the right hand side for the next 10 minutes and we're just going to go there because we see there's a disadvantage for Aston Villa with Matt Target. He's struggling with an injury, or we see that Greenwood has him for pace and skill. Let's continue to go down that way. Let's double up on him with the low or with Wan Bissaka. But it just doesn't happen. I mean, how on earth do we play but we have no structure? Defensively, we're supposed to be strong. Luke Shaw, we thought would actually be a player that would do well for us, but in all hindsight and fairness, I mean, he completely disappears. I mean, defensively, he's supposed to be a better defender than Alex Telles, but even in that moment, he fails to close down a cross. He fails to, go and tackle someone unless he's frustrated that he's fouled and he gets a yellow card. There's no in between. It's either all out or nothing at all. And it is weird to see. I mean, you look at players on the bench again, and I'm coming back to midfield. Players like Donny and Fred, and looking at the midfield thinking to themselves, how does McTominay play? How does he actually start every single game? What is he doing behind the scenes that is being loved by these coaches? I mean, Ragni came out after the game saying that he won't be surprised if McTominay is captain in a couple of years to come. I'm sorry, what? Captain? Okay, I get the fact that he's probably a leader in the team, probably speaks, probably very vocal, and on the pitch when he's pointing to random people where he should be doing his job. But captain? He's not even good enough to start for our midfield. How many heavens name can he be our captain? And on top of it, you speak about players like Cavani, who we thought and should be playing and being our number one target. But if we don't get crosses in the box, if we don't get the ball up to him, how is he supposed to score? How is he supposed to put the ball in the back of the net, especially when we target it? Before I speak on, I just want to explain to you guys and tell you that I think now is the perfect time. If you haven't, just subscribe and also like the video. We want to ensure that the Stretford End, reaches everyone across the world in terms of the Man United community, and that everyone basically come and enjoy the show. Because here we just basically have fun. We talk about United. We vent our frustrations. We basically ensure that we just are open-minded, and we are a fun community. We are a happy community. We're not here to slate players and to speak badly about them. Just give them fair criticism as they signed up for when they signed their first professional contracts. Yeah, that's how far back it went. Moving along, I looked at, like I said, Cavani when they were quiet, but it was basically because there was no service. Moving along, Delo had a good performance for the first 40 minutes of the game, but disappointed again defensively. And I think that's because we sat back. And because he was so high up, basically let the ball over the top and he was nowhere to be seen every single time Aston Villa attacked the spaces in behind our wing backs. And that kind of exposed us plenty of times where players like Lindelof, made crucial errors, but then, it hit the bar from Ollie Watkins after his weird mess up, the gear making, saves as he should. And should I say it, Varane was flawless. There was a moment where I felt worried, where I felt, he's going to lose the ball. He had a brilliant one-on-one against Watkins and won it long. Something that got to me, which was really, really concerning, it was the way that Aston Villa players fall around and try to break out rhythm and play. They literally get touched and they drop to the floor. Seriously, is Steven Gerrard teaching them how to slip? Because that's basically his famous move. It's what he does all the time. But Aston Villa really, really played crap. They played dirty tactics every time They had the ball in the tight space, they wait for the touch, and they go down, breaking our play, and basically just frustrated. Thank you. They look so surprised, but they knew exactly what they were doing. How does that make sense? I don't get it. But nevertheless, even for the goal that was disallowed from Danny Ings, clearly Cavani was blocked off. How it took so long for VAR to see that, I don't. That's not meaning. That's meaning that the goal would not have stood. Yes, the goal didn't stand, but basically, look at the tactics that they used. Surely you should have gotten a yellow card at least for that, but he didn't. No yellow card, and again, that is concerning how these English referees, how badly and biased they are towards United, towards Liverpool, the City, and the Chelsea. I don't know how they try to hide their bias officiating, but they can't. It's clear as daylight to see. Moving along, there's something I just want to read to you guys. So, for me personally, this is what I saw. Rashford started the second half as bad, which showed his attitude. He chose not to get the tap in after Greenwood couldn't get the ball to him. Basically, there was a run that Greenwood made. I'm sure you can remember, and basically he cut it back. But then the goalkeeper fumbled it, and he just stood there looking at the ball. Was that Cavani? And I'm sure Cavani was on the bench thinking to himself, "Why am I not on the pitch? I would have put that away." Because that's what Cavani does. He waits for mess ups from goalkeepers. He waits for tap ins because it's been done years and years, and it's his experience and his natural instinct to score those goals. Rashford wants to score a screamer from 50 yards, and then he'll think it's a goal. He wants to run past three players and put the ball in the net, and then he will think it's a goal. He doesn't understand the essence of just putting the ball in the back of the net. Like, I've never seen Rashford actually tap the ball in the net. It's like he doesn't want to do tap-ins. And those are the type of goals that to get the scruffy ones. We could have been 2-0 ahead, but he chose not to go times, running in behind but being offside. How does he not look across and see, hey, I'm not in line with the last defender or bend my run? He just fails to do that. And McTominay in midfield, that just reminds me of the Statue of Liberty, just standing there. Every single time he just stands. When we're defending, he stands. He doesn't move into a space that we close down a passing lane. He doesn't move to close out someone. He just stands and jogs in midfield, running around, looking and seeing what's around him, but not doing anything. They make one pass and the ball is passing, and he doesn't even try to get back into position. He just jogs and he's like, you know what? You guys at the back, you'll sort it out. Oh no, the gear will make the save, shouldn't be on target. It's all good. And then he would run back and clap hands for people as if they did a good job when he could have and should have stopped the pass, or at least delayed the pass a bit, or changed the direction of the pass. But nope, they pass right through the midfield, right past him. And this is nothing. This is nothing against McTominay. It's just, in my opinion, he's not good enough. Vice versa with Fred. I don't think they are good enough. They have their moments here and there where Fred was man of the match against Crystal Palace, scoring a world on his weaker foot, but they are just inconsistent and not good enough. Both of them wouldn't start for the City, not for the Liverpool, not for the Chelsea. They'll probably start for lower league teams. I'm sure McTominay would not even start for Newcastle because hell, John Joe Shelby ran rings around him in midfield. That tells you itself how bad these things are. And Greenwood just completely being anonymous. He just disappeared. And whenever he gets the ball, tries to run past 3 or 4 people. I don't know why he does that. I don't know why they do that. It's weird. It's stupid. But it makes you wonder, think to yourself, what are they doing on the training pitch? Are they learning? Are they actually trying to get better, improve themselves as a personal player, let alone the team? I mean, surely as a player myself, I want to improve, be better, try and be the best that I can be. Because your football career is not that long, 10 to 15 years at most, and more depending on injury and game time for various clubs that you would play for. But at least when you are playing, you want to play to the best of your. Of course, you have a benefit to the team as well. And none of these players are doing that. It's just pure greed. And then they wonder why Ronaldo gets mad at him. You're not passing. You're not making runs into space. You're not giving him an option to play you in. And when he's in, you don't pass to him. I mean, I remember moments where Greenwood could have played in Ronaldo, and he chose not to. Vice versa with Rashford. They choose not to make these passes. As I said earlier, I don't think Bob's going to last long. If he doesn't leave in this month, he'll probably leave at the end of the season, because I don't think he wants to, continue to fight, but he barely plays. Well, hopefully against Aston Villa he'll play, but I don't think he'll play against Aston Villa on Saturday. I think he'll probably be on the bench again. But we'll definitely do a video as a preview for the Aston Villa game in the course. The last thing that I just want to speak about, this is what he said, which I found really weird, but also that's why he's starting. So Ragnar is basically saying that Rashford is working hard in training, that's why he's starting. But if he's not performing in the game, he shouldn't be playing. And of course, you get your form back through by playing games. I understand that. But it's 2 games in a row now. What is he doing on the training pitch that is good? Maybe Ragnar is playing him because if Rashford comes good, we have to defend his eyes and hearts. But I thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening further. We'll definitely speak again soon. Just another note, definitely subscribe, like the video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. That is it, me. That is it. Oh my word, I'm messing up my words. You see what I mean? This is weird. This is what United does to me. They literally cause me so much stress. They cause me to literally fumble over my words. But nevertheless, guys, thank you guys for joining me. That's it from me and the Stretford End. Goodbye.